Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. I am sorry. I had this scheduled for last night, but it's kind of things have evolved anyways. I ended up canceling it not long before, and I just want to apologize to you guys and thank you for being here today. And hello, how are you guys? I am outside. I can't believe it. It's getting cold already. I can't, it's freaking hoodie blanket time again. You guys mightn't recognize this hoodie blanket. It was like one of my favorite things to wear last year. And it's that time again. So, um, I have a few things I want to talk about. I thought it would be really interesting to see what you guys think too. Maybe I could do a couple of polls on some of these subjects. So I do want to touch on just a couple updates that have happened in the case in Charlie Kirk's case. I also want to touch on just a couple things with that. Somehow, how I feel like my words have kind of been misunderstood, and um, I just hate the division and stuff and all the hate. And I don't want you guys to do that to each other. I don't want to get into that too much. I'm just sad to see the state of affairs. Then I want to talk about with the Watts case, there's something interesting. And thank you to ATS who told me about this update. And you guys, please go check out her channel if you haven't yet. Let me drop the Nightbot. Actually, Tess, will you drop her Nightbot for me, pretty please? And so we're going to touch on that. It's really interesting. There's a creator who has grown his entire channel, and it's pretty big. I feel like his entire channel on that case and covering it day in and day out when there have been no updates, in my opinion. And he's not covering it anymore. He's claiming he's getting some threats and stuff. We're going to look at some of that. And then I want to just touch on a couple other little things and just see how you guys are doing. Check in with you, hang out, have some conversations around these things and whatever else you guys, want to talk about. And yeah, so that is the plan. Thank you, Tess. It's actually Amber, but I only have one hand I can do it with, but I got it. I think there we go. Thank you so much, though. I called her ATS, so that was confusing. Command was Amber. Pointer Lover, thank you for being a member for 43 months. It's not cold yet. Dude, I have a blanket out here with me too. Let me tell you the temperature. I'm freezing. It's 65. It feels really cold though. It's a cold ass 65, okay? Friday it's going to be 84 though, so I'm looking forward to Friday. Okay, so let's just get it started. This situation with the assassination of Charlie Kirk has completely taken over the world, and world leaders from the United States and other places commenting on it, all of us talking about it all day long. The shooter has now been in court. I want to show you guys just a second of that in a moment. There's some text messages that have been released. There's some updates regarding just the case specifically. But before we get to that, I had commented about how I told you guys too in this, the only time I've ever voted, I voted for Joe Biden in 2020. And I felt like that was mainly because of the way that I felt about it was more about social issues for me at that point. And I didn't watch Charlie like that because I didn't really share any of the same beliefs. I disagreed with him on a lot of things. I'm not really a religious person. I believe in God, but I am not a religious person, and it just wasn't for me. However, I had seen some of his things, and I always found him to be like a respectful, charismatic guy, like in the things I had seen. A smart guy might be a better way to say that, and charismatic. And he's only 31 years old, a wife and 2 children. He was publicly assassinated in front of the world. I don't care where you land politically on the spectrum, but if If you're celebrating that, and I get people feeling indifferent, whatever, but I'm talking about the people who are celebrating and that stuff. I can't believe it. It has shaken me to my core. And I had said, some things were taken out of context, and apparently that was the worst thing I could ever say. Well, I'm being truthful with you guys. I felt misled when I got onto Twitter right after looking for updates, and I saw the video of the shooting many times, which is just hard to see, and I just, like, immediately thought, "Oh my god, no," like, I hope he survives. He's just a person, right? It's a political shit aside, he's a person with a family, and that's where I was at. And I'm on Twitter and I'm scrolling and I keep seeing like these clips, short clips of things he had said that were just gross. There's no other way to say it. Like in my opinion, I felt like they were extreme positions. Um, and I'm not for extremism on either side, the left or the right. I think that it's destroying our country, both sides, extremism. And there is a lot of it on both sides. We cannot pretend that one side does it and the other doesn't, because you keep hearing each side will go, "Oh, the far right extremist," or the far Trump. I just heard him say like something about the far left radicals. And it's like, but it's both sides. The extremists on both sides are the problem. But regardless, I'm scrolling Twitter and I keep seeing these clips, and they were not nice things. They were awful things that he had said. And after doing more research, I realized that there was more to it. Like, for instance, there was a Second Amendment quote that he had, about, some deaths. I don't know if he said acceptable. I can't remember his exact verbiage, but it was basically that some deaths would have to be acceptable in order, because the Second Amendment was worth it, right? And people were saying like, "Well, he did say this." Well, come to find out, there was more to that about car accidents and stuff. Regardless, I just simply was being truthful with you guys, saying I felt like some things were out of context. I'm not saying that everything is, but the things that I had seen, and I felt personally misled. And I also felt like, why are we doing this on day one? Um, and look, I just try to keep it real with you guys on how I feel. I talk from my heart. You may agree with me or not agree on, and that's okay. We don't have to all agree. I actually like when you don't agree with me, challenge me, but I just can't understand like where humanity, where it like there's we're losing our humanity. And it's not just on on a topic like this. Like, look at the way that people attack each other here on YouTube. We are losing our humanity. This is the thing, like, that I have to say. What that young man did was go to different places and tell people, if you disagree with me, come have a conversation. If we stop talking, that's when violence happens. I appreciate that. I think that talking about things honestly, how we feel about it, and having conversations with people we disagree with respectfully is never bad. It's never the wrong thing to do. So I was being truthful. I felt like some things were out of context, and I felt misled. And at the end of the day, I don't even care about I get it, it is a huge part of the story. It was a political event, but so politics are part of it, but at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't about that. Like, that first day, especially, like, it was just, like, I still feel I can't believe it. I've got some clips. I'm not even gonna show it. There's one of a man. I'm not gonna show any of this stuff, like, on this, that I don't wanna get too deep into this, because I have other things I wanna talk about with you guys, and I'm not looking at the chat, forgive me, but clips of people just saying the nastiest things. He deserved it. A clip of this one young man like mocking his death, stuff like that. That these people that witnessed this are not necessarily people, like, because ultimately, he paid the ultimate price here. He's the one who lost the most, him and his family. But there's a lot of other people that were there and had to witness this and have been devastated by this, and not just people who agreed with him. It was people from all over. And it's just such a tragedy, and to see, like, I don't know. It's just a lot, right? And it's really hard to see some of it, and it's even hard to speak about it. Um, and yeah, I was, if you don't appreciate that I said that it was taken out of context, I'm sorry. That's truthfully how I felt. I still feel like I was misled by some of those things. Um, and that's just me keeping it real with you guys. So, Clicker, thank you for being a member for 24 months. Thank you. This is no longer left versus right. It's truly good versus evil. Imagine what else we've been lied to about. That's why I go to direct sources instead of watching 10-second clips taken out of context. Well, you know what? Like, if you bring it back to the YouTube thing, it happens here too. So all I can really learn from it is do your own research, like, and try to get other people to do on everything, every case we talk about, even if it's something that you're an opinion, like a drama situation, and you're trying to come up with an opinion, make sure you look for the facts. Don't just believe what you're told. Don't just listen to a clip of something, a few seconds of something, yeah. No one cares about us immigrants. Hey, look, no, I obviously care. My family my family is a family of immigrants. All of our families are, right? But so that's not true. I don't I'm not saying anything about that. Like I said, it's more about just the fact he was a person. Listen, my mom is half Hispanic. Her dad and all of his brothers and sisters, his parents came on a boat from Spain not that long ago. I truly care. I do care about immigrants. I care about people who aren't immigrants. You know what I mean? Just people, whether you are on the right or the left or whatever. And if you were publicly assassinated, then I would care about that too. Yeah. We're gonna have to, we're not all gonna agree on everything. His kids don't deserve to have their dad's murder everywhere they turn. Well, that's interesting because think about this. 3 days in a row, there were pretty much viral murders happening on social media. I didn't see the first one. Apparently, there was a woman, I think in Philadelphia, shot. And then we had Irina Zarutska and what happened to her on the train in Charlotte. And then this. And yeah, I mean, how do you get rid of it once it's on the internet and then everyone's families? It's absolutely so tragic. Hey, Andy. Hey, all you guys. J13 me. I didn't even say hi to you guys, I don't think. Janelle, Tess, Pointer Lover. Right. I don't hold any of his beliefs. That's it. That's where I'm at, Pointer Lover. Hey, Lady Fucking T. Thank you. But no one deserves to be murdered. That being said, I found most of what he said despicable. Too much use against him. Thank you, lady. And I agree with you, Yeah, I think, and not just on this situation, on every situation that you're trying to come up, if you're letting a situation on the internet affect you emotionally, if you're getting angry over it, if you're getting sad over it, if you're spending hours research it, any of those things, you need to dig for the facts, because I'm telling you, not everybody's here to give them to you. They're just not. No one deserves to be killed for speaking what they believe. If you disagree, then don't listen. I think we should all, I think we should keep having the hard conversations when it's appropriate, right? Like, I'm not saying at all times you have these tough conversations, but I do think they're important. I meant us against them. Thank you. I was a little bit confused, Lady Bucket Tea, but it's a little bit of a tough subject to even talk about. So I'm kind of not completely, I guess, processing everything immediately. I've been crying for days. Did you also see the 3 guys that were handling? No one talks about them. I'm sorry, Nicole. I don't think so, though. The 3 guys. X amount. Hey, Okie. Have the hard conversation then. Well, I mean at an appropriate time. Like, if I was gonna have a conversation about our immigration, I just don't have the facts to do that in a way that's, meaningful, you know what I mean? But I think that we have like, that's what the United States is built on, and that's what makes it a special place, so. Fighting racism with racism and hate is a kinda screwed up. I'm glad I'll never understand. No room in my heart for that. Good to see you, Natasha. I'm not talking on it. Are you kidding me? I'm just saying, you said nobody cares, and I said, no, we do care. That's all. It's so important to not let this divide us. Love each other no matter what their beliefs are. We are all human. Carrie, ain't that the damn truth? Hey, Midnight Lace. Okay, so let's see. He was in court today. Tyler Robinson. If you didn't see my short or my last live, like, he was apparently said, this is another thing that wasn't true. On a huge Twitter account, 4 million followers, puts out a clip, very short. They have a long video, like internet history of Tyler Robinson unlocked as they're trying to delete things. We've got it all here. We got it before it was deleted. Type of like, that's the impression. I can't remember the exact words, but that's like what the title is. And it's got all these photos, like his mom sharing and stuff like that. And then I noticed like Seth Rogers, because this like consumed me too, you guys, this whole situation. But so I'm just trying to look for updates about the shooter after he's been named, and I see this video, and then I see Seth Rogers in the middle, and they're like, look, here he is on a YouTube live saying the Proudfoots need to be taken care of the old-fashioned way. And apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently, like, that At Night ran with it, and it wasn't true. All you had to do was simply go to that live and look for that person's other comments, and just a couple comments away, you see them talking about their 7-year-old son. It wasn't the same Tyler, but it is being blasted as a fact on a Twitter with 4 million followers. And dude, I don't know how you fix it. Like, I don't know. I've been following Kirk for several years, but I only became a Republican in 2024. I was hardcore to him. I was pretty hardcore about it too. Like I had said the other day, what happened to George Floyd? Oh my God. I still can't even think about that damn video. Like him crying for his mom. Whew. And just like people talking about it, like, there's one thing didn't appreciate Charlie's stance on, right? But I can still care that he was murdered. But, at the end of the day, that's my point was, I was also, pretty much on one side. Now I'm kind of at the point where I don't like any side. I don't like any of them. I think they're all dishonest. They all care a lot more. Okay, 90% of the people in office right now, in my opinion, care more about the money and their donors and what lines their pockets and the deals that they have in the works than they care about the people who voted them in office. Period. There's only a couple people who don't take corporate funds. Bernie Sanders is one of them. And even though I don't agree with him either, I find him to be kind of extreme with his some of his stances. I still think he is a genuine person who is trying to do what's best for the people who voted him in and not letting the money consume him. And I think it's just what it is now. But it is sad, J13. I agree. Other administrations have done this too. Not that it makes it right, but some don't remember that. Yeah, please, you share all your opinions, but let's do it respectfully and let's, um, and yeah, I think that many of you guys, I don't even have to say anything, but I mean, it's possible clicker, but that's just from the research that I've seen and done. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, I don't think that most of them really care all that much about us, right? Like maybe the local politicians and stuff, but that's just, yeah. So anyway, okay, off that, let's talk about the case for a few minutes because I want to get into some other stuff with what, like the Watts case, the threat that this creator got, that creator in general, and then some other things. And I also found something interesting on the Colorado shooting that happened the same day. Let me see. Yeah, as Charlie's shooting. I've got that right here. Okay, so let's take a look at this though. Here is the shooter, and this is sad to me. This dude, he scored a 34 on his ACT. He was a bright young man. Now his life is ruined because of, well, for whatever reason, you think that you can take someone's life because you disagree. But I don't give a shit what the reason is. When you're at the point of doing something like this, or taking someone's life in general, but then publicly, it, like in front of all these people, makes it even more twisted.
Versus Tyler James Robinson. Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graff.
Yes,
Mr. Scortis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You're probably already aware of my
Also
presence or
quick
why
one.
I'm here, but if not, I am not entering an appearance. I'm not counsel on this case. I'm working with the county to get counsel assigned, but we need you to allow for the appointment of counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Scortis.
Last thing I want to say about the politics in this, and I just got to say, look, I watch a lot of shit. I watch the left and the right. I'm a fan of independent media, not mainstream media on either side. I think both CNN and Fox News, places like that, don't have much for them. I think that they're extremely biased, and you have to be careful when you're listening to them. I am a huge fan of the Young Turks. And there's some conservative independent media I really enjoy as well. I like to watch things from all sides. I watch different Senate hearings, different talk shows. I'm listening to political stuff on and off all the time just because I want to know what's going on in the world, really. And at the end of the day, I can tell you this: I've seen both sides be manipulative as hell with what they're telling us. I have seen both sides point the finger at the other side. I've seen both sides lie. Okay? That's just the truth. We got to have our own backs. We got to have each other's back. These are not our saviors, in my opinion. I'm not going to look at any of these people as if they're, I don't feel that way. So that's where I'm at on it all.
It is, well, I want to go through the qualifications for indigency, but that is my intent, Mr. Scortis.
Very well.
And I thank you for being here.
I love Anna.
So, Mr. Robinson, you have a right to an attorney.
I think she cares
If you
about
cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule 8 qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with their filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned.
Well, we're going to talk about what happened in Colorado today, Bree. I can understand feeling that way. But I can see why, though. Bree says it's sad many aren't talking about the Colorado shooting because Kirk's death is so much more important to a lot of people. Some don't even know that it happened in Colorado. Well, you know what? I don't think, for me, it's not more important at all. I think that they are both very important things to talk about. I guess what happened to Charlie, consumed me because we saw it. And then very quickly after, we heard from his wife. We saw her bringing his body back. We saw what she posted of him in his casket. And I guess, like, I think that's it. And plus, he was much more well known than, like, well, of course, no one was known there, but for instance, for like the Minnesota lawmakers. I think that is why it took over. But it is unfortunate, I gotta say, because I've felt this way so many times. There are so many fucking cases that I've talked about over here when we do true crime news and stuff that don't get talked about because something else that people are more interested in or they think is more important is all that's being talked about. I felt this way the whole time, this whole last year. And don't get me wrong, Sebastian Rogers, he should still be talked about. His case is very important. And so are the other missing kids who don't get talked about. And, oh my God, you guys, like, we'll do it today. We're going to look on Crime Online. I try to do this like every week or so and look through a bunch of cases that are not being talked about. And there are so many. If you go, make it a habit. I'm going to give you guys a challenge and let me know. Come back and tell me that if you do it. I challenge you to check Crime Online. That's a very easy way to do it. Crimeonline.com every other day for the next week. Every other day. And then we'll come back. And the next time that I go through like headlines, we'll talk about it. And you tell me how many things happen. It's fucking unbelievable. How many kids go missing? How many kids are getting, murdered by their parents after years of abuse? How many kids are being assaulted by their teachers, by their coaches, by their preachers, by their whatever? How many kids are dying in hot fucking cars? It's too much and it gets overshadowed. So I definitely understand that feeling. It is so concerning. I agree. Hey, Kathy Joe. Yeah, it was televised, right? I wish they all got the same attention. Me too. It's so sad. Oh, I know. I know, Bree. I know what you mean. I'm just saying, something I think about often. Hey, Alicia. We all saw that video, and you can't unsee that, man. That's why it's really hard to see the people that are like
Attorneys
mocking
must
it
file
and stuff.
declarations with the court that
Wow.
outline their qualifications
Wow.
under Rule 8 and in Rule 8C. I'm sorry, under Rule 8B and Rule 8C.
Okay, so let's just come over here because I got a lot of things I want us to go through. Excuse me. They are going after the death penalty. They are, they want this young man to get the death penalty. I know the governor said that pretty instantly, quickly. Now these texts have been released. This hurts my heart for his family, for the shooter's family. This is freaking sad because the gun was his grandpa's gun. It was an old gun. Okay. Let's see which one comes first. This one was posted first. It makes it a little bit confusing. Yeah, I think that it was the second part. So I'll just read what's here and I'll fill in what's not here. I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I'd hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. Well, he had told her to go look under his keyboard, I think right before this. And he had left a note about I had the chance to take Charlie Kirk out and I'm going to do it, or I did it. She responds, the roommate responds, you weren't the one who did it, right? And he says, I am. I'm sorry. And they say, I thought they caught the person. And he says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I'd planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again, hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back my grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. And then he says, I hope they don't find prints. I left it in a towel. And I thought, that is fucking sad, man. His poor father, retired law enforcement. Can you imagine? Your child does something like this? And I don't know his parents' political beliefs. I don't care, because at this point, this is a murder. Like, when we talk about, I don't know, it's big for me when I'm talking about a case. For instance, like with the Watts case, we're going to talk about in a moment. When people say Shanann was controlling, it makes me mad. It's like, or when if they, because it's not about that at the time, and it almost feels like victim blaming. But in this case, I can see some people's criticism, honestly, because it happened at a political event. So it's really like I don't know. But then he talks about the engraving bullets. Look, remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge, ooh woo, on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right? I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. And we know they did put that out. We also know they had one said Bella Ciao. One said something about I cannot say that word. Fascism. Fascism. I know I didn't say that right, but I don't, I cannot make my mouth say it. He actually wasn't retired law enforcement. It was a different guy with the same name. Is that true, Janelle? So those reports at first were wrong. He wasn't retired, like Washington County Sheriff. Hey, Nature Rocks. Wouldn't be surprised, because that's another thing. When a case is new, a lot of information is wrong. Wow, okay. Oh, I said it right. Never mind. Hey, fascist. Catch. Yes, different guy. What? Oh my God. Now, were they religious though? Because I've seen that a lot too. Now I don't even want to say they were a more conservative, like religious family. Correct. A different guy. Hey, Jameson. That's what the FBI cleared up or something like that. Was that today when they had, because I think there was a presser today I haven't seen. This'll good to see you. See all you guys. Okay. Yes, they were LDS. Okay. They were Mormon. Well, I know I had seen that on Brian Enton. He did an interview with a fella who had witnessed the shooting. There are a lot of videos up of people who witnessed the shooting. And look, they're not conservatives. A lot of them are not. A lot of them wanted to debate him. They were asking questions. They were in line. And they are scarred. I mean, just traumatized, can't sleep, crying. I don't care if they're conservative or not. I'm just making the point that because everybody wants to make this like, I don't like that side, or, that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, we are all people. I have loved ones from all ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? And friends as well. So I'm not the kind of person, I don't need people around me that agree with me. I don't want that. Please don't just agree with me. If you do disagree, challenge me. I would rather that. It's not for me. So I'm just saying that though, because the way things are right now with this one. Allie, I've been sick to my stomach all week. School started again today. They are replacing the grass with pavers where he was. Oh, I know, Thistle. It has truly affected so many of us, and I'm just sorry. I hate that things are the way they are. I don't know. Oh, Jennifer, I hope you're feeling all right and they're being good to you. Okay. Now, let's talk about the Watts stuff for a moment. Let's just switch for a minute. I'm local. Hey, Coffee. And hey, Brandy. I know, I've missed Natasha. J13's like, girl, where you been? Now, the Watts case. Have you ever heard of a creator named Jaworski? I think that's how you say it. Let me pull up my little. Zawaki. Kawasaki. I don't know. They were on lockdown and my daughter slept in my room until, oh my God, Thistle. I'm so sorry. Hey, Flu Snake. Nice to meet you. Hey, Chasing. I'm trying to keep the talk on that. Like, I have a lot more to say, but because I know that it affects you guys and, I just don't want to hurt anybody. So just my whole message from that is we'll follow the case, the actual details. Do your research. Just know that you might be misled and things might be taken out of context, and maybe they won't be. But if they are, you'll feel how I felt. And I didn't like that. And remember that we're all people. And you might believe how you believe, or someone else might believe how they believe because that's how they grew up, or because of their own life experiences, or because of what they've been through, what they've witnessed. And we cannot walk in each other's shoes. So we have to respect each other and try to keep, having conversations respectfully, not like cussing each other out. And, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, but that's all. Okay. Hey, Gidget. Zawaki plays other Watts Island content. He's played some of mine before, actually. Grandma Sherry. Yeah, that must have been incredibly scary. Hey, Gidget. Anyways, okay, so he puts out this post, okay? Hey guys, the Watts videos are done. Well, first let me say he has played some of my videos. Look, I enjoy case discussion on closed and open cases. I think there's a way to do it. And I personally have never watched this dude because I don't get down with, I don't like, it's just like, what's his face that's not on the platform anymore? Who's friends with the family and stuff. If you're, there's nothing to talk about every single day with this information that's uncovered that's never before known, or this information that's brand new. It's bullshit. And I felt like that's what he did. So never been a fan. But anyways, and no offense, that's just not my thing. I get it. Look, I understand even being kind of like sucked into a case to the point where that is what you want to talk about all the time. And I can look at how long before we stopped doing the Tisha calls. And that was only because Steve Gonsalves, when in his victim impact statement said, we want him to be forgotten. And Jen and I agreed. I will never forget right after that telling her dude, we got to talk about this because I don't want to do that for Letitia. And she didn't either. But I understand because I was sucked in. I would still listen to what's going on with her, just because I don't understand how her mind works. And it's kind of fascinating trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, the way that this was done was just there is nothing new. I just feel like it was kind of misleading. Again, that's the theme today, being misled. That's the theme. Been attempting to avoid life things lately. Collectively, I think we're all sick of the Orange Man and haven't hit 1 year mark, second round edition. Well, I know that in here it's a bit mix of people. Some people love him, some don't. It's all over. Like I said, for me, I don't trust or like anybody in Washington, really. But that is what pisses me off. Everyone wants to be the first to break the news, so they get it wrong. They definitely do. That's true. Okay. All politics are terrible, right? Well, guys, it's important, right? And I care about it, but also I feel like I just can't trust them anymore. I've seen so much. But anyways, not to go back down that road. So Zawaki says, well, guys, the Watts videos are done. I've been asked by the ruse checks to stop. So I will continue crime content, but the Watts case, unfortunately, has come to a close. I'm going to respect their wishes. I do not want drama, nor do I want to be hateful either. God will have his day with Kessinger. She will have to answer. I'm sorry, let everyone down, but Watts' case is silenced again. See you in the next video. Please share with friends and family. Then in Amber's Facebook group, which if you guys are interested, I think it's called Chris Watts Did Not Act Alone. Go join it. But if you're interested, he posted this. And the reason that it even caught my attention as something to talk about was like the end of that last part, like the Watts case is silenced again. Like, huh? What do you mean by that? Silenced again? Like, I know that at least before, Shanann's family didn't mind when people discussed the actual case details if they used the discovery and it was the facts and they were respectful. They didn't mind that. But I guess if you're not doing that, you don't fall into that category. I don't know. But what do you mean, like, again? The case is silenced again. Like, when was it silenced before? And what do you mean silenced? Like, it's a closed case that's going to live on forever in history. I don't think it's ever going to not be talked about. And some people feel like they are still learning about it or they still want to dig into it or whatever, and again, I think that can be done in a respectful way. And I just want to share Amber's link because Amber is a dear friend of mine. She's done two documentaries, I think maybe 3, a couple on the case that are excellent. And she does it in a respectful way and rarely. It's not an everyday thing at all. But okay. So he says, I've received multiple death threats, been mocked, ridiculed, and turned into a joke by the Shanann haters. Still, I stood up and defended her and her children. Because of that, I received a Facebook message wanting me to stop. My channel is bigger than one case. I have thousands of subscribers and viewers who rely on my content to get through their days, weeks, and months. After thinking long and hard, I made the decision to step away from Watts-related content, just as I always said I would do if the Ruseks ever asked me to. They didn't ask me directly, but I cannot risk losing everything I've worked so hard to build. So what do you mean? Because your post on YouTube said they asked you, but this says they didn't ask you directly. Deep down, I know NK will face judgment before our Lord. That is not for me or us Sawakians to handle. This wasn't my choice, but if evil thinks it has won, it's mistaken. I've never spoken negatively about the Ruseks, their daughter, or their grandchildren. My goal was to uncover truth and fight for justice. But life moves forward. God is great. Evil will fall. Justice will prevail. If anyone can reach out to the Ruseks and ask if this is legit or not, but all I wanted to do was bring justice to their loved ones and find answers. Was NK involved or not? I never wanted to be disrespectful. It's not about money. It's about justice and defeating evil. Okay. So here's the message. I don't know. I think it's unfair to say the Ruseks sent this and then say, find out, you guys ask if they did. You know what I mean? And they've never done that before. If you, like I said, if you did it with the truth and respectfully, Yeah. So I'm curious what you guys think though. So this, because like everybody is consumed with what happened to Charlie Kirk, and there's a lot of discussion around that, and I knew you guys would want to be like, you'd be giving your thoughts. It made me think, well, let's discuss this too, because I'm curious how you feel. And maybe I should do some polls for this. So we're going to take like 10 minutes and do a couple polls. I want to talk to you about creators who cover the same case all the time. Is there a difference if it's closed? What about if there's no updates? Like, I want to do a couple questions like that. So let me just. Nay, good to see you. I have missed you. I'm always happy when you come back. Good to see you. I'm actually burning one of your wolf moon melts right now. Oh, and here's the thing before I do the polls. My name is not actually blank. I'm messaging on behalf of blank. We are asking you stop making Watts content that involves Shanann's name. Mention of her name and children. You profit with every video made. This is us asking you to stop. You said if we sue you, you have no money. That's what we all expected. But if you don't want your channel shut down, stop talking about his sister. Stop talking about Kessinger. That's interesting. So could this be like, I don't know, it makes me go down the conspiracy like mindset of, blank has addressed this, and 8 years later, you continue to profit off their story, not your story. Make your game and ghost content, but stop with the content about Shanann's murder. If we do see videos continue to post, we do plan legal action against you. Now, this is interesting because we know that they did go after a creator with legal action in the UK. Their channel, like the Armchair Detective, he covered Watts every single day for years. And he really got into some of the conspiracies and stuff. You know, it makes me want to talk about like families bringing legal action as well. I know for me, I would, if a family member of a case I was covering asked me to stop, I would stop. There wouldn't be. That's like what with Gannon's mom and dad when it came to Letitia's calls. You know, they were very upset about the autopsy photos. But, you know, at least before, anytime I had talked to Landon, she appreciated people telling Gannon's story and wanted to do it herself one day after the trial. But I always, and Jen always said too, you know, if they were to ever ask us, don't listen to her calls anymore, we would not even think about it. It would be just flat out, no, we will not listen again. So, okay, let's see. My first question is going to be this. Do you prefer listening and talking about closed cases? Wait, about, then I'll make the options closed or open cases, or no preference. Because there's a big difference. In a closed case, you can actually get, you know, a lot more of the facts. If it's been through a trial, you know, that you're not going to cause damage to an investigation. That's a factor. And we've seen, you know, a lot of open cases go to hell in a freaking handbasket here on YouTube. Thank you, Neat. Hey, James. I have a really hard time when people cover the same case constantly, especially when families have asked for it to stop. And if the case is solved, it bothers me a lot. I can understand that because I don't like that either, especially if the families ask for it to stop. And I don't like the nonstop one case. It feels exploitative. And I say that, you know, wondering, did we do that with the phone calls? It was always new information, though. I will say that, you know, anytime we came on to go through documents, updates with Letitia's lawsuits, phone calls, it was always new information. It wasn't just rehashing stuff. Although I suppose there were probably a few discussions that were kind of many discussions that were rehashing stuff, but a lot of the time it was new information. So it's asking, do you prefer open cases, closed case? Like if you're watching something or like seeing people cover a case, do you have more interest in a case when it's open or no? Because some people think it's harmful. Like, look at Andy's comment here. I think for YouTube, I prefer closed cases. In more private settings, I do like to discuss ongoing cases and speculate. I think the public speculation can be problematic. Thank you, Nicole B. I don't know. I try to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like it is important to me. But we all make mistakes, so it makes me wonder. However, I do like hearing phone calls from past cases we watched. I do too. I think that is so interesting. Okay, so we have no preference, 75%. Wow. Open. Wow. Open is almost double. And that's what I was curious about because I have an interest in open and closed cases. It just depends if the case gets my attention like that. But some people like that, I don't want to say rush, but almost like rush that you get from real time following something. Knowing what I know now, closed honestly, depending on the subject matter being discussed, particularly, it's only factual information. If it's a case that's closed, though, and you're doing daily videos on the new information in this case, that is wrong. I don't like that. Okay. There was one question I was going to ask about the first topic, so I'll go ahead and put that one here in the poll now. Do you prefer leave politics out of a true crime discussion? That's what TCD will stand for. If politics play a factor. A lot of people don't want to talk about politics ever, but if the case has an element of it in there, would you still want to leave it out and not talk about it? These might be confusing questions. Let me think, because I had a couple others. Wait, I wrote them down. Hold on a second. Look at me, being prepared and not prepared all at the same time. Had questions and I forgot about them. And even though I had some, they were in the notebook in the house. To me, being prepared matters. I was just saying this today about a different situation. If I'm watching true crime, I want the person to at least be somewhat prepared and know a little, like I can understand researching together to an extent, but you need to know some of what you're discussing. Okay. Yes, so you do prefer leave it out. It causes so much division. And like for me, I think I prefer leave it out, even though it plays a role, but only because I don't want to hurt you guys. Like I sit here and I walk on eggshells and I feel like I don't know how to say this. How do I say that? What should I say? Like, I don't know. And I just don't want to hurt anybody. Like with Charlie Kirk, apparently, like saying it was out of context might have been hurtful to somebody or maddening. And then, explaining the context could feel like making excuses for something that he said that was bad or that people might think is bad. And I don't want to do that. Even though I could give explanations, like I just don't want to hurt you guys. So, okay. I don't want you to feel like you have to walk on eggshells. I know, but I mean, with that topic, I don't really see how you don't, If you care about the people that you're talking to. Because I guess sometimes if my opinion is so strong about something, I'm going to give it. But for the most part, I'm really considering, how that would affect you guys, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but that's the thing. No matter how you say certain things involving politics, there will always be someone angry about it. And that is true. True. Politics are a part of life and they should be talked about. I say, just say it. People will get over it. You can't please everyone. Some people feel like absolutely it should be talked about. If you're not, you're doing a disservice to us, right? Doesn't matter what you say, Allie, there will always be those who disagree, even if they don't make themselves known in the comments, spewing their ugly hatred all over the place. Do you? Oh, Natasha. You're right, though. Tisha, who's that, Mama? 4-5. Oh, Tisha. Yeah. We talk about politics together and agree to disagree. I think it matters who is talking in the group. Oh, yeah, you and I do for sure. That's true. We did last night. And I don't even get into that here because we were talking about a current war happening that I personally feel extremely passionate about. But I'll leave that for a later discussion because that really isn't something I don't think anybody's ready to hear. As a person having a business, I won't talk about politics. I don't want people not to support me. That's true too. You'd alienate people. No. Hey, Rando. We should be able to talk about politics these days. Some people don't have the emotional maturity to do so. That is true. Right. I understand what you mean. It can be hard when you realize someone you care about does not agree with something you believe in. Right. Absolutely. Mama Ford, listen, it's okay if it wasn't a joke because literally today I was just saying and telling Neat actually, public assassination. I was just thinking like nobody deserves that. No matter like what your stance was, if you were saying it respectfully and not resorting to violence, you don't deserve violence. And then I thought, but you know who does deserve it? Stephen fucking Stearns. Publicly make his ass face the death penalty publicly, which he should have. He should have been put to death. I wouldn't mind to see that. I don't want to see like all. I'm not saying I need the gruesome because what happened to Charlie, my God, that was just awful to see. But hey, Bendy. Hey, Nanya. Good to see you guys. Okay. One of my closest friends has a completely opposite view on politics than I. In every way, we are opposite. We just don't discuss politics, period. Easy peasy. My whole life, people have felt differently than me, like around me, my family especially. Because I came from a really conservative southern, the very bottom of southern West Virginia Bible Belt. And I always like I remember when I was a kid, like all kinds of kids at my school wearing like rebel flag t-shirts to school, like the Southern, what was it? Southern something. It was a specific brand. And it had like like, I don't know. I always spoke out about things like that. And that's why I said like the one time I did vote, it was social issues that compelled me the most. Like got me in my feelings the most or whatever. Oh, was he, James? I didn't know that. Look at the Ukrainian girl. So Irina, oh gosh, I just had her name in my head. Irina. Oh my gosh, I literally Zarutska. I didn't know that, and I don't even know his name, but that wasn't as important to me to remember, I guess. But, well, here's the one thing though: if they are put in a psych ward, well, you know what? That's not fucking true. I've actually witnessed recently in my real life somebody tried to kill someone, was charged with attempted murder, went to a psych ward for a little bit over a year, and they were released. Because I was going to say they usually have to do their sentence in a psych ward, but sometimes it can be left up to the doctor. And when they feel they can be released, they can be released. I remember kids wearing Confederate flag crap when I was in high school in Massachusetts. Wow, Andy, that's crazy. In Massachusetts. You want to say, hey guys, we lost the war. I just felt like my stance is always like, if it's hurtful, why do it? I don't give a fuck how much it's your history, how much this is our history, you know. If it is hurting people and makes them feel unsafe or uncomfortable or threatened, why do it? It's just like the people who very strongly disagree with using someone's preferred pronoun. For me, it's not about me or what I want. I'll always I'm going to use what they want me to use out of respect because I don't want to be hurtful to somebody. And it's just like when it comes to words that are not the R word is now some people are like using it again as if it wasn't, widely known that it was not an acceptable word to use. Never been a word for me. But if it was, and I then heard, this could be hurtful to me. It could be hurtful to people who have children who have mental disorders or whatever. It could be hurtful to someone. Then why use it? Do you care that much about using the word that you want to use? Or, having to me, that is the unreasonable thing where you're like, I can't let this go. No. But whatever. Now I'm on a tangent. Growing up, it wasn't acceptable in our family, so I've never used that word and have always hated it. Having respect and kindness for our fellow human doesn't cost or hurt us. True. Let me share. I wonder if you're in my Nightbot. Nunya had a live today on Groupthink, and I enjoyed it. I didn't get to see it all yet, but I think that is a very fascinating subject to discuss. Let's see if it's in the Nightbot. If not, Tess, will you do me a favor and get her link and drop it for me? Oh, it is. Boom. Yeah, from my interview with you. I'm basically redneck, to be fair. Not a redneck, but I am a tan girl who loves real tree. The rednecks up here just where came out. Well, I'm definitely a hillbilly redneck, whatever you want to call it, and proud. I ain't in the hills no more, but okay. Yes, that's true, Janelle. I just had, and one day I may tell you guys the story, but a situation far too close for comfort to me of somebody that did get charged with attempted murder, got put in a psych ward, and then the doctor felt like they were okay to be out. And that's the truth. It happens 100%. The local elections are usually where I think you'll make the most difference. Okay. Let me see. You're a golden neck goddess this summer. Oh, it's still sad that it's over. Hey, Justice Jane. Okay. This weekend, I'm going to try to be out on the water only because it's going to be hot and we don't really have many hot days left. Let me think. I know. Oh, yeah, my notebook. I had other questions, but I also have other topics I want to get to. Let's see. People right to discuss public cases. Is it different with closed cases? file a lawsuit. Something about a law. Oh, the lawsuit. Oh, here we go. This was a question I wrote down, and I think it's a good one. I want to know what you guys have to say about this. This is only within the last 2 weeks. Have you seen any out of, and this doesn't have to be about any particular case. Have you seen any out of context clips? What? Start Q&A. That's the wrong thing there. Don't know what I was doing. It won't let me do a poll. Didn't? Oh yeah, I didn't end that one. What is wrong with me? There we go. I'm really rusty. Have you been a victim of the taken out of context on social media? I'm just so curious if you guys have had the same experience. I'm a redneck woman. I ain't no high class broad. Just a product of the something. And I say, hey, y'all, and yeehaw. Don't give me a copyright over that, Gretchen. I have a car accident in Beckley, West Virginia, so I'm anti-Beckley. I'm anti-Beckley too. Now, it's a beautiful place, man. There is nothing like the mountains of West Virginia when you want to talk about like gorgeous nature, right? Like being out in nature, the overlooks, like the waterfalls, like it's just gorgeous. But it has been completely destroyed by drugs. Unfortunately, there was a couple states right in that region that really, the opiate crisis just hit really hard. And as a matter of fact, the governor of West Virginia has sued the makers of OxyContin. Hell, did you guys ever hear about like all those overdoses in one day in Huntington? If you Google it, what state has the highest rate of overdose per capita, it's going to be West Virginia. The place has just been destroyed from drugs. We ain't looking at nothing, Solo Angel Mom. I'm sorry. We're looking at my inbox in my Facebook account that's only for YouTube. And I just send myself like videos and screenshots and different stuff. See, and even a lot of it I don't talk about, but maybe I will want to. It's like there's a Bernie Sanders video. Oh God, Hassan Piker. This I was going to show. Actually, let's just take a look at it. This is like what I mean. No, I'm not going to play it actually. I will share the link in the chat right now and you guys save it and watch it later. But it's really gross how low people are going and how like people are straight up calling for political violence. And like I said, on both sides, that's just the truth. The extremes on both ends are. Oh, really, Solo Angel Mom? I don't know him, but I don't love nothing he said there. I think it is on Dope Sick on Hulu, Emily. Good night, Peanut Butter Conspiracy. Yes, I did live near the Whitakers. So I used to live on Philpott Road in Coal City, which is like at the top of a mountain that if you go down just Coal City Road down to the bottom to go towards Jerry or Odd, which is where they live, it's about 10 or 15 minutes. Like I was on the ridge of the mountain and they were at the very bottom at the creek. And my best friend lived like a mile or two up the road in Josephine, which is like the next little teeny tiny town over. They're towns, but they're just so small and they only have, a few houses in each town. But yes, and I've met the Whitakers multiple times. And I know there's something going on with them right now, but I don't know what. I haven't kept up with it. That's cool though, Thistle, that I remind you of your friend. Hey, Tracy. Okay. I saw this right before the live. I had only been able to skim it, so we're going to look at it together, and then we're going to look at what's actually going on in the world that we've all missed. It's crazy because you wouldn't know the things that, like, for instance, there are major headlines in the UAP world, like in the world of aliens and us having, other things out there. There are major developments that get overshadowed by a lot of the news that is going on. Tess told me about that, Tracy. So did you guys see the old man who was like, shoot me, I did it, or whatever which is still weird. Why does somebody do that? If there's not, I don't know. There's something funky going on there, but apparently he had CSAM on his devices. The greatest Bigfoot researcher ever died this week. That's sad. Let me see if you guys have been a victim to the out of context clips. I'm just so curious. Yes, 74%. Yes. Dude, I don't want to make excuses for something that may be problematic that anybody said, but it is, number one, within hours, you're pointing out the things he said that were awful. Like it felt like you were justifying what he had done, like what happened to him. But also, there's so much more to it. And like I said, I would expand because I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I don't want to make any of you guys uncomfortable. So we're going to keep it pushing. Let's look at this for a moment. This is about what happened in Colorado, the school shooting. FBI was aware of Colorado high school shooter's troubling online post before attack. A 16-year-old Colorado high school student accused of shooting two classmates before taking his own life had shown an interest in past mass shootings like Columbine and shared neo-Nazi views online, according to reports. The FBI was tipped off about Desmond Hawley's online activity in July, and the agency confirmed through Fox News, although his identity wasn't known at the time. Quote, we continued to work this assessment investigation to identify the name and location the user up and until September 10th, 2025. To identify name and location of this user. During the assessment investigation, the identity of the account user remained unknown, and thus there was no probable cause for arrest or additional law enforcement action at the federal level. That's awful, man. Now, the Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism said they looked into his online activity. Hawley had an account on the Gore forum Watch People Die, where he had commented on posts about shootings in Parkland, Buffalo, and Quebec. So that is so interesting. So there's apparently like a site, Watch People Die, where you can watch people die. And if you show an interest in these like he did these shootings, it flagged something to the FBI. The ADL report accuses the teen of collecting tactical gear and adorning it with extremist symbols, as well as posting content emulating former shooters such as Roop Now and the 1999 Columbine high school shooters. He shot himself following the shooting at Evergreen High School in Jefferson County. It is still unclear how he selected his victim. The county was also the scene of the Columbine massacre that left 14 people dead. So, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said Hawley was radicalized by an unspecified extremist network, but released no details. Now, if that's true, look at this. So, what is pretty crazy, because neo-Nazi would be like far-right extremism, right? And then, if what happened to Charlie Kirk, which is looking like it was politically motivated and came from maybe some extremism on the left, what I've been saying the whole time, it's both ends. It's happening on both ends. And it's ruining our country. And most of us are just normal ass fucking people stuck in the middle who might have a view about this or that. We just want to raise our kids and our families and be safe and live the American dream. Dude, I can't with the extremism. Ugh. They were tracking him online but couldn't identify him in time. Interesting. Sorry for the yelling. Also, I'm sorry I get passionate. Hey, community tea. But if my intro is super loud and then my voice is not loud enough, maybe that helped make it like more cohesive, because I did get some complaints about my intro like being super loud and I had no idea. I really didn't. So if it is, then that's why I did that. That's why the yelling. No, but I am sorry. Let me know though if that happens to you, like if your ears get blown out from the intro. Okay. Holly's TikTok accounts were filled with white supremacists. So like I thought, symbolism. The name of his most recent account included a reference to a popular white supremacist slogan. The account was unavailable Friday. His accounts had been banned. A Democratic senator out of Delaware, Chris Coons, told CBS Face the Nation that the internet was driving extremism in our country following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I agree. Like, it's crazy, but, you know, if you've been on the internet for a while, you know. Don't believe everything you see. Don't just believe a clip. Get the full context, things like that. Things can be manipulated, fake screenshots, AI. Like, we know there's all kinds of little tricks to manipulate people. Vulnerable people don't know that. People with lower IQs don't know that. People like super young people don't know that. They just don't. They believe everything. They literally believe everything. My niece lives with me. When she got here, she had all kinds of facts for me that some were true, some weren't, that she had heard and just believed. Which, not that they're not on the internet now, you know, they are sometimes, but I just try to encourage like other things, playing outside, reading other things, because I don't trust it. And that includes Bentley loves his PlayStation. He loves his games, and it scares me to death because it's just dangerous for kids. I just don't know what we're doing. And here's the thing, it's kind of like a big experiment, right? Like, we don't know what effect all of this extra information is going to have on us or on our kids as they're developing. There have never been kids alive before that from the time they were born. Like, even Bentley, when he was little, I had a little Amazon Alexa tablet that had, like, you know, you couldn't download like stuff from Google Play Store. It had its own little apps, but you could have a couple games and watch Prime Video and stuff like that. We don't know what having electronics like that in your face, like even at school, it's happening at school too, is going to do to them. I know when I was a kid, we didn't. Hell, I still remember some of the little phones I had, like back when I had that Nokia with the awesome ass snake game. I had this little pink Kyocera with like flowers on it. It was really cute. But yeah, I was a teenager and it just wasn't like that. When we were kids, we had to be bored more. We didn't have all the information at our fingertips. Fun fact, when I was a kid, one of my favorite activities, I could get my mom to tell this and you guys would laugh, but one of my favorite things to do was read the encyclopedia. Like, I loved learning, and my grandpa was a teacher and he had like a lot of books and a lot of encyclopedias, and I would just do it all the time. I would go to my mom and be like, "Mom, guess what? Blah, 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 blah." Or, "Mom, I taught myself how to say the alphabet backwards." She said at 6, I came up to her. I can still do that. It's like ingrained in my brain for some reason, but like, I just love to learn. Kids these days, they don't have to go and get an encyclopedia to learn. I'm on a whole tangent about the internet, but it really fucking scares me what it's doing to these kids. You guys love them too? Look, I love the encyclopedias. I love them too. Okay, 7. Don't allow him to use chat Discord. Could be crazy people on there. I don't like on the game. I do not. I really like. He has my cousin. Like it's his second cousin, my little cousin on not on Discord, on Roblox, and then my niece who lives here on his Roblox, and like they'll talk through the game, but that is one of my fears. I don't want them communicating with people in games and stuff or on the internet at all. Cognitive socialization, attention span, cognitive thinking. That is freaking true. Hey, Kimberly. I was obsessed with my parents' National Geographic. Yeah, I love the encyclopedia. I still love to learn. If there's something I'm interested in, like skincare, like the chemistry behind different skincare and stuff, I will read and read and read and read for hours and hours and hours. I'm like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that now. Or like the chemistry of the marijuana plant. Like I know so much about all these different cannabinoids and what they can do and how, like, I don't know. It's just stuff that I really will probably never, it's not super important, but I find interesting. But yeah, kids now, they just Google it. No thought to it, no taking the time to look up in an encyclopedia and then on the way looking at different things, you know. Oh, that's cool. Coffee and skeletons. Love our cannabis talk. Me too, Andy. I love it too. It's so exciting. Like the other day when we were. It's just cool to have somebody else that's like interested in that stuff. I love it. Oh, Tess. Not everything, but I do find it fascinating. Anyway, now my tangent's over, but the internet probably is creating a lot of the problem here. I do believe that. So that's it on that. Now we're going to go look. Let's just take a stroll. Like I said, this little challenge. I'm serious. Please go look at Crime Online a couple times a week. There's a couple other websites like that. Is it crimewatchdaily.com? I don't know. If I find any others that the next time that I'm live, I'll let you guys know. But check, like every couple of days, there will be things you know about. Of course, like here we see Tyler Robinson faces the death penalty. There's going to be a lot you haven't seen. Let's just take a look together. I have a series I do going through headlines that are unknown, and it's one of my favorite things I've done on here. It's one of the least popular like videos of all time, and they're actually getting less and less popular over time, but I still want to do it. I just think it's important, dude, to know what the hell's going on. Okay. Police seek tips on missing Florida teen. I hadn't seen her yet, so if I click on it, we'll lose the photo. So I will click in a second, but it says she's 16. Her name is Anayli Izquierdo Cruz, and she's from Miami. She has a flower tattoo on her left forearm, 5'7", last seen in black leggings and a red bonnet with a black backpack. So if you're in that area, she was last seen on Northeast Avenue in Miami. Let me go back so we can actually see her face. Dude, Nancy Grace, why? Why do you do this to me? Because see, I gotta say something. You make me frustrated. This is her company, by the way, but so there's her pretty little face. That's sad. I hope she's found. But all right, let me go back. Tyler Decker, I'm sorry, Travis Decker found, bones recovered in 100-day search. Body bags with Joseph. Okay, it's body bags, not Nancy Grace. Either way, those were not related. We know that. Like, they don't think they were related. And what was it even? We just talked about this like 2 weeks ago. That's why it's frustrating to see it there. But all right. Let's keep it pushing, because let me tell you, there's going to be a lot. Buckle up, because this is it's hard to accept. This is what our world looks like, but it's just the truth. Apparently, this is a case out of, it doesn't say here. I thought it was going to say, and I'm not going to click it yet, but it was a missing woman, Nikki McCain. Her husband has now been charged with her murder. Parents formally charged in death of 3-month-old daughter. A New Jersey couple was indicted last week on murder charges for the death of their 3-month-old daughter earlier this year. An Ocean County grand jury handed down the indictment on Wednesday. Let's take a look at this. Officers responded to a call about an infant having trouble breathing on May 5th. They took the baby to the hospital, where the baby passed away the next day. An autopsy determined the infant's cause of death is blunt force trauma to the head, and the manner was homicide. The autopsy found 7 broken ribs and a fractured wrist, both of which began the healing stages, indicating past traumatic injury. The doctor described the baby's injuries as devastating and sustained from substantial force, compared to the level experienced by a significant motor vehicle crash. Now, they gave several explanations, one of which they dropped a glass bottle on the baby's head. They're being held without bond. Good, they should be. Get a look at their faces just one more time. Oh, damn it. Oh, my God almighty. This young man was found. I didn't know about this. Oh, my God. This young man, Demartravian Reed, 21, was discovered hanging from a tree in the middle of Tennessee. He was a college student, or I'm sorry, in the middle of Mississippi. I don't know why I said Tennessee. He was a college student. That is very fucking sad. And it just reminds me of other cases I've seen where they try to say it's suicide, but it obviously wasn't. Like, there was one where the dude had different shoes on. His shoes were gone and had someone else's shoes on, and they still said it was suicide, but okay, whatever. In the middle of Delta State University's campus on Monday. Did y'all hear about this? This certainly hasn't I hadn't heard about it at all. This seems like a pretty big fucking deal to me. Yeah, lynching. This is what I mean by, like, these big stories like overshadow things that are so important. God almighty. Officials have pushed back against claims of foul play in the death of a Mississippi college student whose body was found hanging from a tree on Monday in the middle of Delta State University's campus behind the pickleball courts. They're investigating as a suicide, but the deputy told the press there was no evidence of broken arms or limbs. Okay. Autopsy results are pending. That is not. Here he is. That is fucking sad, man. There's been more than one now? Oh my God, Andy. They said broken arms, Kelly, so I don't know. I hadn't heard about it either, Janelle. I think someone posted a link about it in the Discord. I hadn't seen it, but I don't usually go back and check like what I missed. You know what I mean in there? So maybe that's why. Sometimes I will a little bit, but Not too much. There was a second hanging on the same day. Oh my God almighty. All right. We're more informed over here. That's true. What are you saying? Okay, Andy. Yeah, definitely do that. Thank you. And also DM me anytime. Okay. Let's continue. I want to get a good roundabout idea of many of the things happening. I'll try to be quick. Iowa newborn murder sentencing scheduled for a mother who put infant in a trash bag alive before tossing him in a ditch. And that's an old case from 2023. It looks like it's just making its way to sentencing, so it's in the news. Florida couple faces death penalty after their 12-year-old son dies because of their religious beliefs. Failed to get medical treatment for their son. Texas cops looking for missing Houston sisters after baby brother found safe. They're 14 and 12. Anna and Brittany are their names. Beautiful girls in Houston. So make sure if you're in the area, you know about that one. Seattle teens arrested for wearing clown masks and brandishing guns while harassing women. Oh my God, I would have a big one, dude. I could not. Wow. Where's the second hanging in the same place? Oh, now Maryland cops are looking for a woman who stabbed her 81-year-old grandmother to death, a 28-year-old woman. Because, that's only the most cowardly fucking thing you could do besides hurting a baby is stabbing an elderly person. Maybe there's a mental health issue or something there. A 95-year-old woman beat nursing home resident to death with wheelchair. Jesus. An 89-year-old woman died on Sunday after another nursing home resident attacked her with a wheelchair. 7-year-old Amber Alert boy found injured with signs of torture. Mother arrested with a gun in her lap. So he was found safe, thank God. But you know what? I don't know. I hope he goes somewhere safe for the rest of his childhood. Half-nude Alabama man steals an ambulance from a murder scene. Father helps girlfriend hide Colorado children's bodies in concrete-filled trash can. My God. Officer shooting. Shot an officer in the face. Mom admits to killing 3 newborns and hiding them in her home. Oh, here we go. I want to look at this, but let's just look at a couple things first. So 14 years after this teen was found murdered, his killer confesses. Manhunt underway for the person who shot the officer. Here we go. Days after South Carolina teacher resigns, police charge him with 8 counts of sexual battery. Wow. No way. Fucking surprise, surprise. Another person that we're supposed to trust with our kids, a teacher. I get so sick of hearing this. This is the one thing. Every time I do a live going through these headlines, I get really pissed and I kind of start yelling but it's hard because you see this over and over and over and fucking over again. Coaches, teachers, parents, grandparents, loved ones, people you're supposed to trust, Sunday school teachers, preachers, everything. Like the people that wonder why he resigned. So the investigation began Thursday, according to the school, and that's when he resigned from his position. New Mexico couple charged with intentional abuse and death of tot son. A New Mexico couple was arrested this week and charged in the death of their 1-year-old son from last year. So that happened in November of last year. Let's see. God, I'm sure it's disgusting. Like the first one, but you'll see headlines like this every day. Ones you've never heard about, ones you've never seen, every fucking day. A New Mexico couple was arrested this week and charged in the death of their 1-year-old son last year. His name was Callian Skywater, and he was taken to the hospital November 27th, where he was pronounced dead. He had, sorry, where I've been sick, like I'm just kind of wheezing and having weird throat stuff. But okay, he was taken to the hospital and had extensive bruises to the head, face, and arms. His mom said the injuries were from playing rough with a sibling and falling from a high chair. An autopsy later found the boy had bruising to over 70 to 80% of his body. Okay, sorry, I had to mute and like clear my throat because I was having trouble. We're almost done, but let's not stop yet. So we have vicious domestic assault, prison time for that. A man in New Mexico making threats against minorities. Missing Arkansas mother and 2 children. For some reason, Crime Online, if you click it, you lose the picture. So I would click and show you better, but it won't show us. Ooh, more information on this. We'll have to talk about this. Apparently, she wasn't home when the baby was found. Jessica, what was her name? Let me look and get her name because I can't remember it. Lakin. What was I thinking, Jessica? Lakin Snelling. Remember, she was on the what was it called? Stunt squad, the cheer squad, something like that. For Ohio State, no, Kentucky State. Oh God, let me stop. Girlfriend hacks sleeping boyfriend in the head with hatchet, like splitting wood. Wow, this was September. It happened in North Dakota, and it happened on September 5th. Police identify bodies of 2 children in Lake Michigan. Kentucky woman charged with setting a mattress on fire to kill her sister. Murder suspect says he molested elderly couple, killed them, and set the house on fire. An at-risk missing California woman. Nine-year-old boy who vanished overnight. We'll click on that and get the details as we end. And that is it on here right now. But let me tell you what, tomorrow there'll be more and more and more, and it never stops. So according to Columbus Police Department, Oliver King Messiah was last seen Thursday at 2:40 a.m. He could be found because they are not good about updating. Let's do a little, let me do a little search. Oliver King Messiah. So, I get why the Charlie Kirk's case has taken over because it consumed me as well. I quit. I didn't check messages. I wasn't going in. Like I said the other day, my favorite Discord groups and little group messages and stuff wasn't in there for a couple of days at all. I was just completely consumed. And yeah, my heart goes out to all of these people's families. And for what happened to Charlie Kirk, not only to his family and his loved ones, but also not only his fans and the people that were there in support of him, but also everyone that was there to ask questions, to have debates, that is completely traumatized. I have videos of that. Let's see. I don't think he's been found, you guys. Oliver King Messiah disappears overnight. 2:40 a.m. Here he is. Oh, he's freaking adorable. So Columbus, and it was on Dana Drive. He's 4'11", 110 pounds. Please contact Columbus Police Department SVU if you see him. Good night, Kimberly. All right, you guys. What was I going to do right before we ended? There was something, but I can't remember. I'm going to smoke a cigarette and say good night to you guys, though. Told myself, like, I'm going to be on here for like an hour. Did not work out that way, but he does have a sweet smile. Lots of kids missing, you know, and you don't hear about all of them very much. It makes me wonder, you know, and like with Sebastian or some of these missing kids cases that have gotten a lot of attention, but they're still missing, like Summer. You know, Summer Wells, I hope she's found one day, man. There she is. Gosh, my photos back here. Look, this is Bianca Devins. I covered this case a couple years ago. Her mom came on. It was out of New York, and her killer was actually only charged with second-degree murder, even though he planned it. You know, he took pictures of it. He posted them online. It was horrific. But the laws are weird there. They're a little different. And there are some things that have to happen for it to be first degree. This is Barry Morphew. Oh my God, I forgot about this picture. These are, so you can save photos in your StreamYard, and this is what's saved in mine. This is Barry Morphew. When they were out searching for Suzanne, someone took a photo because they thought he's acting weird. And he was out laying like this in the field. Yes, it was horrific, Andy. And dude, her mom, like, she fought and fought to get those pictures removed, and they kept coming back. There's been legislation, like there's new laws created over it and stuff, but in Google, I guess they have some sort of way to identify the picture when it's uploaded. Hey, Crocheting Bammy. He's locked up now. Then we have my little thing I made to identify everyone in Lori Vallows. I'm going to show you all these because there's some important ones. This is Bianca's artwork. She painted this. She was incredibly talented. This is Kendrick Johnson's dad showing how hard it would be to fall down in the mats there. Now, it was a different mat he was in, but still. The mat was only 15 inches in diameter. His shoulders were 19 inches. That case, somebody needs to pay for what happened to this young man. I follow his mom on TikTok, you know, but here, this was a case that I was following, but remember when Betty had to go do fingerprints because they touched a murder weapon? Like they literally were behind looking for this woman who was found, and her boyfriend had killed her. I can't remember her name right this second, but he was like a butcher, and he had put her in the woods back where they were and all of his knives, and they found them and grabbed them with their hands. We have someone coming out of the Watts home. Looks like a ponytail to me, but I'm just saying. No, I truly don't believe. I don't believe the narrative there. But this was about Summer Wells' grandma doing a missing persons event for her and her aunt. There's Summer as a baby with her puppy. Dude. It's frozen and it won't let me get my other photos besides these last three. Look at Gannon. That's one of my most favorite pictures of Gannon. And then Summer there. there's more, but it won't let me show you guys. So I really just wanted to show Kendrick's picture because, you know, I think that that'll be something that stays with me forever. And I really will. I hope for justice one day. My cigarette went out because I was running my mouth, but I'm going to let y'all go anyways. Thank you for listening to me ramble about the things that I feel passionate about and the things that are important to me. And I know they're important to you guys. And mostly the conversation stayed pretty calm. Like, that really threw me off. If you're still here, coming in here like, nobody cares about the immigrants, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me? Like, my family is made up of immigrants. I mentioned my mom's family, but my dad, his mom barely spoke English to the day she died. It was from Germany. My grandpa met her in the war and brought her back, or right after the war, World War II. You know, all of our families are made up of immigrants. I would say most of us, anyways. And that's not what it was about. That's a separate conversation to be had. Maybe you don't agree with someone's beliefs, but they still don't deserve to be murdered and specifically publicly assassinated. But so that threw me off a bit. But anyways, thank you for allowing me to talk about the things that I am passionate about and I care about. And those, you know, those are, I guess that's just shit that happens that comes along with some of these topics. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great night. And yeah, hopefully you could follow me along. For the most part, I'm all over the place. But when it is a topic like that is like so divisive, is that the right word? When it's a topic like that, like these are the political topics, like what we were talking about tonight with Charlie Kirk's case, it is hard to know. Like, I do this thing where I'll overthink every word and I will get off of here. I do this with every communication I have. Here's a little secret about me as we go. At the end of the day, when I lay down for bed, I sit back and think about all the interactions I had throughout the day with friends, with family, with my kids, with strangers. And I will overthink my words on all of those interactions. And I'll think, oh my God, did that come across rude? Was that hurtful? Oh, I shouldn't have yelled at the kids over that. You know, they were wrong, but I should have done it differently. I should have taught them their lesson a little differently. That was maybe a little harsh. I criticize myself every day and I overthink everything. Nice to meet you. If I offend you, I'm sorry. I'm really trying not to, but it's tough. But anyways, you guys have a good night and I will see you tomorrow. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really do. And thank you for everything. Bye.